I'm Safie Russell from SDR Consulting, Inc., and we're here today on Business Basics Friday. The goal of this session is to provide some value to small business owners in the space of tax, accounting, and general business, and then have an open Q&A at the end.
Happy Friday. Hope all is well with you. Thank you for your patience as I work through technology. Welcome to Business Basics Friday. If you are here live, go ahead and share in the comments below where you're joining from. Dialing in from New York today, and it is 78 degrees going up to 85, trying to hold on to summer here. So feel free to comment below where you're joining in from. I'm Safie Russell, founder and CEO of SDR Consulting, Inc. And Business Basics Friday is a weekly session catered to providing valuable information to business owners. We have a variety of guest speakers that come in and help share information and educate you on the many areas of your business that you may need to manage. Just as a disclosure, this is strictly educational and informational information. No client relationship is being established or specific advice for your situation, and we're not liable for any use of information provided today. So as far as my background, I've been in the industry 21 years, and I'm a CPA and enrolled agent based here in New York, but I have a virtual practice, so I work with clients all over, mostly working with mental health practices, helping them reduce their concerns regarding tax and accounting. And if you do have questions as we go through today's session, you can feel free to drop them in the comments here on Facebook if you're here, or if you're on Clubhouse, throw them in the chat and we will address questions at the end. All right, so I'm excited to introduce our guest speaker for today, Trey Dunavant. Trey Dunavant is here to discuss with us strategies to scale, increase your revenue and profits with a revenue expansion matrix. So Trey, the floor is all yours, and I'll be back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Safie. This is going to be awesome. Looking forward to sharing a little bit in relation or on the subject of scaling. It's been a huge part of my life. Professional career is scaling businesses, and I just absolutely love it. So excited for this. Quick background. Yeah, Trey Dunavant. Scale Factor is the name of business. I'm a co-founder and got some great partners. And what we do is we help businesses to scale. And the best place to start may be just a quick, recap of what is scale versus growth. I think scale and scalable is becoming a more and more common word, more popular word. And I think everyone probably has a definition that pops into their mind. But just to kind of set the stage for what is scale, when we talk about growth, typically that's revenue or profits. It's financial, I would say most often. There can be growth and as it relates to other things, but scale is how do we, drive revenue, increase profits, and do so dramatically while also keeping up on everything else, right? Making sure our values stand, our culture stands, our internal processes stand. How do we make sure at scale, and as we're doing that quickly, the wheels don't come off of the vehicle? That is the goal. And so when we talk about scale factor, we're talking about those elements, right? Is how do we drive growth and do so in a healthy way? Today, we're obviously looking at increasing revenue and profits by using a revenue expansion matrix. And so to kind of dive in right there, we'll zoom in a little bit. Before we do, let me frame this in kind of a way that maybe you can grasp more easily. And that is factors. Scale Factor is the name of our business. Factors we use as an acronym. And so when we talk about today creating new revenue and profits through a revenue expansion matrix, that's the third factor. That's factor C. I just want to give you a quick overview of what those are so you can better understand what all seven are. Number one is find your buyer. So factor F is find your buyer. No business will scale without the ability to really be able to find more and more buyers over time. And we say find specifically. Part of finding is knowing. There's a lot of elements to that, but ultimately it's finding your buyers what's going to allow you to scale. The second factor, factor A, is amplify your brand. If we can't find our buyer, we need to then amplify our brand. If we miss in that gap, we'll lose them in the process, right? So finding your buyer, then once they're found, does everything about our business align and speak to that individual? And is our brand being amplified in the right ways, in the right areas, through the right channels? in order to speak to, again, our buyer that we're after. Third factor, the one we're focusing on today, is creating new revenue. There's lots of ways to create new revenue, and we're going to talk about a few of those today. Next is team alignment. If we have a great, we found our buyers, we know where they're at, we've amplified our brand to them, we've created the right products. Well, if our team isn't in alignment with this whole idea of growth and scale, we're going to lose momentum. We're going to churn. And so team alignment is really important. Operationalizing your sales is the next factor. Factor O is operationalizing sales. Many times in small businesses, especially, you have a business who's structured around an individual or maybe a few individuals. They are responsible for 80, 90+% of all revenue generated by that business. I've heard it referred to as a rainmaker. It might be a rainmaker situation, right? You've got a single rainmaker or a few, and they drive everything for the business. Again, not scalable, right? So if we're going to scale, what do we need to do in our sales motion specifically to operationalize that, to make it accessible and leverageable by everyone in the company, especially a sales team in the company? Factor R is repeat your sales motion. If we don't have an end-to-end repeatable sales motion, again, you're going to struggle to scale. And so that's a very, very important one. And the last one, factor S, for factors, is scaling the business through investments. It's all about, okay, if you are someone who's implemented these factors, you're going to get to the end of your year, your fiscal year, calendar year, whatever it is, and you're going to say, wow, we've got profits. What do we do now? What do I do with these profits? I think I've known a lot of business owners to default. They may put some of it back in the business. You've got some maybe more conservative who just put it away for a rainy day and it sits in a checking account, savings account, or something else. Or I've seen a lot of people also default to, let me invest this in an area where I know what the return is, i.e., I can go down to a dealership and buy a new vehicle for my business, right? A new car, truck, whatever. They know what they're paying. They know what they get in return. It's very easy. Unfortunately, some of those default things happen. And let me clarify that or put a disclaimer in here. I'm all for the business serving you as the business owner. If that's extra vehicles, if that's second homes, if that's boats, whatever it is, that's your jam, do it. The business is there to serve you. I don't mean anything other than that. What I mean is if that's the default, there's ways around that, right? We need to really look at where we can invest with confidence back into the business to drive more growth. So that's a quick zoom out to understand the 7 factors. Now let's zoom in on the third factor, create new revenue. So I want to talk about a revenue expansion matrix, and that may be an overly fancy term. What I really want to describe here is think of a 5-star property, Safietou in New York. Picture yourself in New York City. In the middle of July, right? Rewind the clock 30 days. It's the middle of July and it's hot. It's like 98 and the humidity's 92. And you're downtown. Think of these 5-star properties that if you're looking for a lobby to go get some AC, maybe even use the restroom, there probably is going to be free coffee there. And maybe even think of when you're going to meet a friend, right? Hey, if I'm going to meet this friend on a day like that, where could we meet where we could step in and what the experience is going to be, right? That's what I want you to think about in your mind as we talk about a revenue expansion matrix. And we're going to talk about every single floor in this property. So I mentioned lobby first, but we really want to think of this 5-star property as a lobby, as a mezzanine level, as a standard kind of floor levels. There's many of those typically. There's typically a club level, and then there's typically a penthouse. So you can think of this 5-star property kind of from bottom to top. Well, what I mentioned as some lobby level elements or value is the way we need to think about our initial interaction with our prospects or clients. So in a business setting, your lobby is where you're going to offer value for completely free. This may be a newsletter. Nope, a newsletter doesn't even apply. That's going to be probably up a little further. This could be things like ads that are valuable, right? Things that you put out into the market that are valuable. This could be your social media. This could be posts on social. This could be things on your website that are offering completely free value. This could be anything that your prospect or client can engage with that doesn't require anything from them. And I mean nothing from them. It is free and it's valuable. That's what the lobby level is. So when you think about your business, I want you to also start thinking about in your own mind, or even grab a piece of paper, notepad, iPad, whatever it is, device, and start to list out what those things might be in your business. What are those things that you offer completely free that are valuable to prospects or to future customers? The next level would be a mezzanine level, right? And in this analogy, this is where there's a deeper level of value given, but you're asking something in return. And typically it's not a lot, but there's, hey, I'm giving you more value, and in return, I expect something in return. And that is, maybe it's a name, an email, a phone number, a social handle, whatever it is, something like that, to where they're saying, look, I'll give you this information to get more value from you. And so again, start thinking in your own mind, what is this in my business, right? Maybe this is a webinar or a free training. Maybe this is a product sample. Hey, give us this information, give us your address, your name, your phone, and email, and we're going to ship you a product that you can use for completely free other than that information, right? Those are things that would happen at a mezzanine level. Think about what those are for your business. The idea is something in the lobby offer of your business, encourage them to want to go deeper. You're relaying something clearly, right? There's information, or the way you organized information, or the product or service you offer that you plugged or alluded to in your lobby level makes them want to go further. They ask for that, right? I want to go deeper. I want more resources from you. And in return, you ask for something else. Then you've got above the mezzanine level, your standard floor, right? And standard floor, as I mentioned earlier, takes up by real estate most of these properties, right? In this analogy, this is going to be that product or that service that up to 80% of your client base uses. So almost 80% of your clients are engaging with you in this way. And so again, what is that for you? What is that currently for you? A lot of people get really good at this. And they also, when they think about scalability, right? When they think about increasing revenue and profits and actually strategies to scale, they think about, how do we get more people into our standard floor? That is a way to scale, right? Depending on your real estate and your capacity, we can just put more people into this offer, whatever that standard offer is. There is other ways to scale though as well, which is, do we stop there, right? Do we kind of have this mentality of like a standard floor stop? Or do we say, what else could I offer? What even in my standard offer, are there ways that I'm picking up clues where people may want more value? They may want more support, things that they're doing themselves. If there's a way that I could do that for them, they would pay for it. Think of those types of things at your standard floor. And what I always say is one of the most important things you can do when you really assess and audit your standard floor offer is ask questions, get customer feedback. There is nothing more important than either surveys or even more organic feedback from your clients. Hey, we're working together. We're providing this product or service. It's giving you this transformation. What else do you struggle with in this area? Is there anything else that we could potentially do that we're not doing right now? Most often, I was just actually with a client out of Toronto, so up in Canada, and we found a solution for over $1 million in revenue from this exact thing. Her clients, her customers were telling her what they wanted. They were telling her what they would be willing to pay for it and when they would buy it, all in just interactions. We backed that up. We said, I think there's something here. And so we actually backed that up by sending out a survey to collect information. But most often than not, your customers will tell you exactly what, in this analogy, could be your premier or club level, right? And even maybe the penthouse, the very top offer. But I think too many businesses stop with what we would call a standard floor offer. So think about that. Think about what those standard offers are for you. What are 80% of your clients doing? Then think about challenging yourself to what could that be as a premier level, a club level? What could that be at a penthouse level? Look into your customer data that you already have. Ask questions in your consultations or however you do business. Ask better questions. Maybe it's even, hey, I've heard this from a few. Do you resonate with this? Like, would you be interested in this? If so, again, what would you pay for it? Like, what kind of value is that to you? And obviously, when you get that feedback, act on it, right? Put that into practice and leverage it. So hopefully, as a, kind of a rule of thumb, maybe that idea, that visual can be helpful for you. And again, I see a lot of companies, businesses who master the lobby offers. They master the mezzanine offers, and they're really good at the standard floor level, but they stop right there. That's as far as their product matrix goes typically. And so, as I said before, they're just looking at how do we go wider, right? How do I get more people on this particular floor? It's not inherently a bad scaling methodology. It's just not the only one. Certainly bringing more people to those floors is helpful, but also thinking about where you can take them, because most often than not, we've found, and again, I've done this with over 1,000 businesses in the last decade, 10% of whatever your client base is at that particular level will invest 10 times what they are with you. Think about that. I've seen this math stand up every single time. Never been surprised. 10% of your clients at whatever level they are working with you at today would invest 10 times the amount they are to get deeper service, more value, etc. They trust you. All you have to do is show them what that is. Connect the dots for them. Did you know we have this available? I didn't. That would save massive time for me. That would save me headaches. That would allow me to go and do X. If you could do that, I will pay you for it. It's valuable. 10% will spend 10X, invest 10X what they are with you right now. So with that in mind, let's kind of talk about ways that we can move from the standard floor up this analogy, right? Up the floors of this analogy. One of the ways we can do that is by creating new products. I've spoken to that already, right? Asking our clients what new products we need to introduce in order to serve them better, serve them deeper, give them more value, and therefore have a higher value point and more investment. Because this really does come back to, at some point, share of wallet, right? SOW. How much share of wallet do we have with a particular buyer? If we can increase value and get more of their share of wallet, that's beneficial for us. Another way we can do that, though, is bundling, right? Think about a bundling analogy of, hey, I'm giving you this. I know this is something that's right next to it and very common as another need. What if we just bundled these together? What if we kept doing what we are doing for you, but we also helped with this, or we also took that headache off of your plate, or allowed you more time in this area? You can bundle things. And I think we can, typical bundling, you see great brands doing this. Look at Amazon, right? How many times are they bundling? Every single thing you buy, you scroll part of the way down and boom, right there it is. Most clients buy this and they add this and this to it. So you can get this end. It's a simple, but very, very effective solution to driving more share of wallet and higher value per client. And so think about ways that you can bundle your services or your products. I think sometimes actually bundling also creates flexibility. It can allow your customers to feel like they have flexibility in their journey with you. It's not a one size fits all. It's, hey, what's going to be your need? What's unique to you? And that has to always be balanced as a business owner as you strategize this for yourself, because you never want to get too fragmented. I think looking at add-ons, a lot of times with a product or a service, you can look at add-ons for that, right? Whether it's support add-ons, whether it's more like think about things that are like service related, right? A service plan that follows something, or think along those lines. What else could I bundle here that's going to give maybe a longer tenure of value for this individual, and again, be worth them paying more or investing more in? I think anytime that we can look at call it a standard product, and we can add something on top of it as an additional value, you will win. Anytime you can do that. And I've never been in an industry personally. And again, over those 1,000+ businesses, there's been a lot of industries. I've never been caught where you couldn't do this. Sometimes you have to be really creative, but there's always a way to say, what else could we add to our current offer that would make it more valuable? So you got creating, you've got bundling. Another way to think about this is educating, right? What are ways that we can educate our client base and therefore drive more revenue? Many times they just don't know what's available. Maybe that's what's available from us. Maybe that's what's available through other relationships. Either way, there can be affiliations and things like that can be beneficial. But think about the educational piece of your client base and how you could potentially educate your clients to get a greater share of wallet. That is the whole point, right? How can we add more value and in turn get more revenue and more profits for our business? And think through what this might be, right? This is going to look different for every single business owner listening to this right now. It's going to look very different, but what are ways that you can educate your clients in order to drive more value for them and drive more revenue and profits in turn? So hopefully this idea of not only the 5-star property, of kind of just being able to have an analogy in your mind that works, but hopefully even thinking about, man, maybe we've done some really great things up to a standard floor type offer. What would those other offers be? Keeping in mind that, let's say 80% of your clients are at the standard floor offer. You're not trying to get 80% of your clients to the penthouse offer. That doesn't typically work. It doesn't scale. What you want to have is 80% at your standard floor, then a percentage at a club or premier level, and then even a smaller amount at your penthouse. The idea is you're making probably equal the revenue, if not more, off of your penthouse or premier offer as you are on 80% of those clients, right? It's 10x. Again, like I said earlier, the typical investment. So you can serve a much smaller group of people, but you can serve them in a more intimate, more detailed way. So hopefully that's helpful as an analogy. And then maybe even thinking about creating, bundling and educating can also help you kind of operationalize that. What does this mean for us? How can we take action on this in the future of your business? Safi.
Hey, Trey, I'm here.
Questions, comments.
Yes. That was thank you for the visual, the audio visual, I guess, if you can say it, because I think that definitely helps us to visualize and kind of fully understand what it is that you offer, the scale factor and the levels of our offers. And I really loved how you started out with explaining scaling versus growing, because that was something that I kind of thought were interchangeable as well. And it is very easy to continue to grow, and then not be able to maintain. And,
that's right.
And so you want to make sure you have that infrastructure in place. And so that definitely is a key factor.
Sustainability is important. I've seen a lot of businesses, I call it slide scaling, right? It's like really quick growth, but then it's not sustainable. So they end up sliding back to something. Typically they regroup, make the proper investment, support it, and then they go for another push. But I think what I've also seen is when done well, you can have a more steady incremental growth up and to the right. So,
Yep. And lessons learned, right?
That's right.
My takeaways from you were really about the quality versus quantity. And, and we all, being in business, I'm sure we all have kind of learned these things along the way, and then now you can share it with others. But, for me, it's about, kind of slowing down to speed up, right? So kind of taking a step back and, like you said, exploring what your clients need, making sure your services are in line with that. And then, who are you serving the best, right? Who is the best fit for you? Where's their mutual benefit, a mutual good fit? And so for me, that's, restructuring my service offerings and being more streamlined and more well-rounded, so that we can really take care of a whole practice from a financial perspective, not just taxes only, or not just bookkeeping only, but really, kind of combining things and bundling services so that, that person gets the full package that they need. And it helps with growth, because now, I have X amount of clients that have this amount of commitment, and then I know how much room I have to grow, as opposed to one-off tax returns here and there, which can be random, right? So, so I've kind of made some of those shifts. I'm in the current process of making some of those shifts, and I can definitely relate to what you said about kind of just expanding from your base, your strong base, and what they really need instead of trying to serve everybody. And
Yeah.
it's hard, you want to help people, you want to get out there and not have all your eggs in one basket, but in reality, it's a disservice to us as business owners as well as our clients, right?
Yeah. And I've seen people, I think in many cases, when they think about, so without this visual or kind of thinking about levels, they often say, okay, well, how do I serve my clients better or deeper, offer them more value? And what happens is it becomes fragmented. It's like, well, I'm doing this for this client. I'm doing this for this client. And I've got this other thing I'm doing for this client because I'm trying to add more value. When in reality, if you're asking the right questions to those clients mutually, you can say, hey, I'm hearing the same thing from everyone. So I'm just going to create another product or offer above that. That doesn't mean I'm doing something different for everyone. No, it's still a standard product. It's just a higher value product. Yep. And so I probably didn't make that clear enough, but that's a big distinction. Is it's not about customizing it to an individual client. It's what are the trends and what are the things I'm hearing collectively where people are saying, man, I would pay for this. This is valuable for me. And I've heard it from 8 of my clients now. I need to do something,
Right.
like I need to make this happen, or 800 or 8,000 of your clients, whatever your business size is.
Right.
Because otherwise we end up offering custom things for individuals. It doesn't scale, specifically in an agency type model, right? It just does not scale. So,
yeah. Then there's missed deadlines and missed, tasks,
yes.
and absolutely. And that's how those things happen. So I could definitely relate to that. Create a package and,
Yep.
There may be a few tweaks made to, specific clients, but universally it's an effective system. And that's what's needed. Definitely. And then the market research, the surveys, the feedback, key, right? Asking for reviews, taking honest critiques, and making adjustments. I think that, sometimes we're scared to ask, but we need to know. Otherwise we won't know how to grow.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we fail to realize our customers are our hero. They're our champions, right? So many of our customers, if we're serving them well, they want to see us succeed, right? And quite frankly, a lot of them would love to work deeper with us. Safi, what else can I do with you? You always do it so well. What else can I do together with you to help take headaches off what I've got going on in life, right? How can you help me deeper? They want to see that, right? So if we're asking the questions, most often we're not putting them out, right? It's not causing them headaches. It's genuinely like, man, what are some other ways that we can work together? They're our biggest fans. And quite frankly, I've felt that way before. Like, man, how do I ask this well? Or I don't want to come across like, I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever those thoughts that might come into your mind is. The reality is, I know I'm serving you here and I know I'm adding value here. Is there anywhere else close to this that I could add value? What else is in your world that I could pick up that could potentially be valuable? Man, they're always our best teachers. And whether a lot of companies do that very organically in conversation, others send out surveys. There's a lot of ways to do that. There's even a lot of very simple quizzes now. I was looking at one this past week where it's AI generated. It sits on your website and it'll pop off questions as it relates to a customer's journey and ask specific questions. All of this can be going on in a lot of cases automated, right? Where you're not even having to ask the questions and yet you're still getting this feedback. And so I'm a big fan of that, gather that information. If we're always inquisitive, it's going to behoove us and our clients. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. Definitely with the AI. I mean, it could do so much, right? So why not?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Leverage it.
That's great. Well, Trey, I think you gave us, definitely a wealth of information in a short period of time. I know you have some information to share with our audience in terms of how they can move forward, how they can contact you, what you have available as a resource to them. So feel free to share that information.
Totally. Yeah. So one of the things we have that's very helpful, and it really came again from our clients, we kept hearing this question of I just don't know how scalable my business truly is. I'm not sure, right? I think it's a great idea. I'm serving some clients. We have product market fit. I know it's valuable for people. I just don't know how I can scale it. And they don't know what that looks like. So we created a scalability assessment. We said, okay, well, we can help you understand how scalable your business is. The 7 factors that I talked about earlier is how we measure and assess that business. There's a lot of other factors as well, but it's built on those 7. And so you can go to thescalefactor.com/myscore. And you can actually get your scalability score. It's completely free, but you'll get your scalability score. you'll get your growth stage. And it's really kind of a delta as it relates to other businesses in your growth stage who are in scale. So it's even kind of more like, hey, where do I sit in the grand scheme of things? And then lastly, what we believe your revenue and profit opportunity is if you were to, again, install the 7 factors into your business, have each of these things, these engines running. So it's just a great way to kind of gut check. Hey, how scalable is this thing? I want to know. Get in there and literally probably, I think it's 14 minutes, 13 minutes. You can knock it out. You'll get a great report on the back end. There's even a deeper report if needed. So it's a $99 report, but we'll do a 9-page deep dive into every element of your business if you want more detail. So it's available. You can get the free assessment or you can pay the $99 and get a detailed assessment. But yeah, check it out. It's thescalefactor.com/myscore.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've dropped it into the comments on the Facebook page. If you're watching on Facebook, otherwise, if you're in Clubhouse, come on over to my Facebook page and view it there, and definitely take advantage of that free resource. So thank you again, Trey, for sharing with us today. I hope that I'm sure everyone got some value from it and now can implement. And if not, on their own, then definitely reach out to you to get support with that.
Happy to connect and add more value. If there's specific questions or whatever, feel free to reach out.
Perfect. All right, everyone.
Awesome.
So I'm Safie Russell, founder and CEO of SDR Consulting, Inc. I provide tax, accounting, and consulting services to mental health practices. And we will be back for Business Basics Friday in October. September will be September Mayhem with tax deadlines. So we'll be back in October with our next topic. But feel free to share your thoughts and ideas on what you'd like to hear from. And Trey, we'd love to have you back in the future. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Safie.
All right. You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.